a lot of it has to do with problems and solutions. And when you think about something that you're stuck with in life, and you start to ruminate over it, and you have many, many thoughts about it, it's interesting. The rumination itself overall is not a good thing to do. And I'm reading this brain science book right now that talks a lot about that. However, life is such this benevolent thing that there are always answers even when we're stuck. So when you ruminate about something, actually at the same time there is a solution that comes out of the rumination. So you have an aha, you have a lightning bulb, you have some sort of clarity. The clouds part. But then what happens? You don't step out into the aha. You don't take action. You don't move forward or lean into that thing which gave you absolute crystal clarity. Even if it was just for 3 seconds, right? Of peace, understanding, harmony, insight. So what happens then we get stuck back in the quagmire because we go back to the rumination thinking process. Now, a lot of this is your circuitry it's part of our DNA. And so this brain science book talks about, well, why is it that we are resistant to change? Because that's really what it's all about. We are resistant to change because from a neurological standpoint, your brains have spent decades running this computer program that creates a stable personality. That means you, a stable personality that somehow has allowed you to overcome trials and tribulations in life. So that's a good thing. However, it also, as you all have experienced in your own life, also leads to questionable behavior, right? Dysfunction. We all have that. Maybe today you had an hour where you literally got sucked into the wormhole of Facebook. Now that would be a funny example of that's dysfunction because you get lost and you're completely out of your own experience. And there's no judgment about it because we all have those moments where we're like, wait a minute, this thing is not contributing to my well-being. Does everybody understand? I have it, you have, everybody's got it, right? So, okay, so why is it then that we don't pay attention to the dysfunction that can be changed? So there's the neurological explanation I just gave, but then there's also a psychological, I'm having a hard time speaking tonight, psychological, spiritual, emotional explanation. And this is something that Rob and I we have really interesting talks a lot about. It's so weird when you see a friend or a lover or somebody you really care about who is in moments of absolute pain and suffering, and yet it's self-caused. Meaning, we who are outside of it don't understand why can't the person just make a slight move in another direction to relieve them of the suffering, right? But they don't do it. Well, why? Why? So it's wrapped back up into this dysfunctional part, which to me has a neurological basis, but also a psychological, emotional, spiritual understanding. Kids, we are tethered to the dysfunction because it's known. So when you have the aha, coming back to the aha, when you have this light bulb that goes off, it gives you momentary clarity about what you could do to relieve the burdens that are causing your life not to be what you want them to be. But what it also asks you to do is to step into a new belief system. And the neurological wiring that's been created over decades basically creates belief systems. And many of the belief systems that we have are not good for us. You just believe them because that's what the brain circuitry does. So what the work is all about, and I just find different ways of science that keeps showing me it's possible, showing us, it's inspiring, is that we can make the change. But then that is a calling to step into that which is scary. Why? Because the aha means you're not identifying with the brain circuitry, which is your habituated way of thinking about yourself. That's scary. I get it, it's scary to step into who you can be. It's analogous to like in acting, when we're doing a scene that's really asking us to live into a new part of ourselves. There's a simultaneous exhilaration, but also fear of, I can't do it. What's it going to be like? Oh my God. But then you get to it. Well, that's life. So how do we put that into play more often? How do we meet yourself at a new level where the aha is coming from? Yes, that's a scary proposition, but that's where you want to go in life. Then your life would open up. I'm telling you, it will open up. So here's a piece of homework we're going to do to try to get us a little bit more aware of how we get stuck in the circuitry. And you know, I think the thing I want to say about this before we do the homework is, when I thought about this book talks about it too. They talk about processes because it's a book about any kind of process that's meditation based. That could be a breath, it could be meditation, it could be a walk, it could be going to yoga, it could be a spiritual practice, it could be an acting class. Meaning, you guys, anything that you're doing that is benefiting who you are becoming, meaning you're working on yourself in a rigorous, committed way, it does the work. Processes work. It's been proven. Listen, I have 15 years of seeing it work in the work. But also what's beautiful about it is it works unconsciously. So you don't even have to worry about it. So yes, you're aware of the changes you make in your life and the breakthroughs that occur by doing the work. But also, out in the world, unconsciously, things come to you just because you're doing a practice. So the doors are open for you unconsciously. All I'm asking us to do is become a little bit more conscious to what? Step through them. That's where the aha is. So, here's your homework. How much do we complain? A lot. Yes. So here's what we're going to try to do. For 7 days, you're going to try not to complain. Good luck. It's so hard. In fact, today I was talking to my best friend. I was like, this isn't complaint. This is actual factual data. This is let's say more facts. I actually even told Robin that today too, about something else, because she didn't even know what this lesson was about. But I was like, these are just facts. These are facts. These are facts. But I did feel better talking about it that way. So, you guys, the interesting thing about complaining is you're just speaking over and over about that which you don't think you have the power to change. And hallelujah, here's another insight. You have 100% power to change all circumstances in your life. At a causal level, you can 90% of the time, which is, think about it. You don't like something that's happening, and you're more engineered neurologically to continue to complain about it because it keeps you stuck, therefore in your victimhood. Not a judgment, that word sounds judgmental, I don't mean in a judgment, myself included. It feels okay to be stuck because it's known. However, if you think about it, instead of complaining, what if you took that energy into creating the change? So here's just a couple silly examples like, okay, you don't like where you live. You live in New York and you don't want to live in New York anymore. You have the ability to change complaining about it and take action. You don't like how much you weigh. You can go to the gym. You don't like your teeth. You can get them fixed. Get it? So those things are at the causal level. Then the last thing is, what's the serenity prayer? Acceptance to change that which I cannot. So I'm at a certain age, I am a male, I am who I am. Those actual factual things can't be changed. Or another one I also use is like a lot of times people like to beat themselves up for things that they did in the past, which they continue to ruminate over. That can't be changed. But you can accept it, create a new paradigm around it. That's empowering. So basically you have 100% possibility to change your relationship with yourself in the world. So that's what we're going to do. And the first thing is going to come out of complaining. So starting today, tonight, tomorrow maybe we should start it, you're going to see what happens when you get triggered and you want to complain. And you're going to try not to, or catch yourself, or maybe you will. And then the great thing about this is it's not going to turn into just a 7-day challenge. It's going to turn into a 21-day challenge. Because if you mess up, meaning you complain, you have to go back to day 1 and start over. Yes. So 7 days might turn into 72 for some of you, and that's okay. That's going to be amazing. So tomorrow you're at the Starbucks and you're like, my latte was a made to order. That's a complaint. Go back to day 1.
So with the no complaining thing,
yes.
So could you be like, yo, do you mind like remaking this a bit hotter? Like, can you do that?
Yes! That's not a complaint at all. Yes. Yes. That's an observation of, yes.